Welcome to SBRN, the Stahl Brothers Racing Network, in production with Stahl Brothers RC Speedway, the enjoyable and affordable RC racing experience. Well, we're back again for another episode of SBRN and driver interviews and profiles. We have Kevin Griffie here. Kevin, where are you from and what do you do for a living?
Well, I'm from Carlisle, PA, and what I do for a living just have fun. We'll just put it at that. You know, live life to the fullest and do what you can, have fun, enjoy family time.
That's great. So your career will stay a secret with us. We won't tell anybody. What classes do you race here with RC cars, and what's your favorite class?
Well, I pretty much like to run the 17.5 stuff, the spec stuff. I'm really a big fan of that, but it's not been a very good class here as of late. It seems like everybody's going the 10.5 direction.
Yeah, especially around here, yep.
So, you know, 10.5 is the biggest class right now, so I'm going to jump into that. I really had plans on trying to run some mod, but mod hasn't been a very big class around here, so I'll be looking forward to going down south to run down at the Scores series and run some mod down there, and looking forward to Bartle series again this winter at Bumps. Maybe I'll put something together on mod there. So I like to race against the most because, you know, you get the more people you race against, the more pride and prestige you have with what you've done.
Yep. So race with some of the best in those mod guys. They're some of the fastest vehicles we got.
Absolutely. You got, you know, Max Floor out there. I mean, Max is just phenomenal. You got Dustin. Dustin's pretty good with mod. You got Mark Corns.
That's Dustin Malakote.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Brian Breckenridge. You know, all those guys. They're the best, and they're the best for a reason.
They're the who's who.
Arnie Fye, Joan Pullman. You know, it's just, you know, it's a reason why they're the best. So if you want to beat the best, you got to be the best. So.
Yep, definitely. How'd you get started in RC? How long have you been doing RC racing? I know you've been racing for a long time, I believe. How'd you get started?
Been doing this for 31 years. How I got started was my cousin Steve Libby. He used to race at Willow Mill Speedway when Willow Mill used to be loose dirt. So that's going back 1987, 1986 with Steve Horn and all those guys. So I remember just going back to my cousin's house during Christmas. We'd go back there for a big family gathering. And, you know, he was off in the corner there working on an RC car. And I'm like, oh, wow, you know what I mean? I was like, what's this? So went back there one time and he was working on it. And I told my dad, I said, this is pretty cool. I want an RC car. So my first kind of RC car was a Radio Shack 8 battery type of double A thing. And Dad, you know, gave it to me. I'm like, I don't think this is going to work out very well. And
how old were you then?
My goodness, I was probably 8, 9 years old roughly. And then, you know, I busted that up obviously a few times, jumping it and doing this and doing that.
It's not a car if you don't bust it up.
And then, he got me a Traxxas Cat, and that was my first RC vehicle that I ever raced with. And then we went to Willow Mill and raced outdoors. And when Willow Mill had the indoor plaque, it was not a plaque, but it was particle board type of. It was a wooden track. Oh, wow. And I mean, then George ended up putting concrete down, and George and I was stuck in putting concrete down. And then I raced there. So I've been doing this since about '87. So about 31 years. 41 now. And
now you have your own business too, Twisted Chassis, right? When did you start that?
Oh wow, my God, Twisted's been going about 3 or 4 years, probably 3-4 years now. I dabbled with it a little bit before then. And then how that all came about was, you know, I really wasn't happy with what I seen on the market, whatever. So I took that and figured, why not run my own screw-ups instead of running someone else's? And I kind of did my own thing. And
a lot of R&D work, isn't it?
I kind of did my own thing. And, you know, the whole thing behind my chassis is my dad, who today's his birthday. Happy birthday, Pops. I know you're in heaven thinking about us. That's why we're here, because you don't want us to race and you're not here. You know, and like, I remember doing my own thing, and I was doing this and doing that with the chassis. Dad says to me, how do you know you need that? I don't know. I just do. Well, turned out the old man was right. For myself, really. And I came here and with my test piece, and I won a bunch of races that summer.
It was fast.
And Kurt Siebert was harassing me. He's like, hey, when you going to I'm like, not really. And he kept on harassing me. Well, one night he showed up at my house. He drove the bumps, bought a bunch of parts, showed up at my house, put them on the counter, says, build me a car. And I'm like, You gotta be kidding me. Sure enough, I built him a car next week. We came here, finished 1-2, and ran well since then. So just kind of how the ball started, and so now we got twisted. And we don't have a bunch of national titles. We don't have a bunch of A-main guys, but what we have is hard workers and people that want to race. And I do everything I can to help everybody. If you have a twisted car, I'll bend over, whatever I got to do. I just want to see people be successful. I just want to see people have fun.
And Kevin is definitely one of those guys that has a wealth of information. So this is the guy you want to see if you have any questions. And there's no doubt that he's fast also. Do you have any favorite memories from RC? I mean, 31 years is a long time, but you got one or two good ones, good stories?
I remember TQing the NARCA Nationals in 95 at Kranzels in Mod. I TQ'd by 2 laps on the field, running for Scooter Motorsports, and Henry Herbaugh was doing motors and batteries for me then. Scooter Motorsports was doing motors. That really lays heavy on my mind. Probably the most recent one would be the first year I went down south to Dixie Nationals. The Dixie Nationals that Brent Densford puts one down there. It's just a phenomenal race, and it's a great venue to go to. I built cars. I took a car down with me. Didn't have a driver. It was my son's car. Hey, I'm taking another car. What the hell? You know what I mean? And Tyler Reimer was already running one of my cars, so I took a car down there, and I said to Greer Wilkie, I said, "Hey man, you want to run this car?" And sure enough, he did. Long story short, Tyler and I bumped into the A. We were 7th and 8th, and Greer Wilkie was on just a tear all weekend. I think he started 2nd or 3rd in the A main. So at the end of it, when all the smoke cleared, we finished 1, 2, 3. I ended up winning that race. And Greer led the whole race. He actually, and this is probably one of my prouder moments, is when Greer Wilkie ran down George Rabonitz and Jake Floor and passed them all in the same lap. And just watching him do that with my car, it was like holy shit! It was a pretty shit moment.
Yeah,
it was
pretty solid.
It was pretty awesome. And I was like, and I remember calling my dad after everything happened. I won. Greer was 2nd, Tyler was 3rd, or something like that. I forget exactly how it was. Maybe Tyler was 2nd, Greer was 3rd. I remember calling home to dad and like, I'm a grown man. I'm like, I can't. I'm trying to hold my emotions. I'm like crying and everything. He's like, you always think. He was proud of me. And then probably the February freeze, I really wanted to win that. Probably the darkest moment was 2012. I had a really good car. I should have won the open wheel, and unfortunately, it just didn't work out for how. But I mean, it made for a great memory from Billy Tyree winning the race. So I have so many stories I could talk about.
Was that the year Billy kind of ran the alphabet? Because there was one year that he started in the D main and ended up all the way up to the B.
I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, Billy Tyree ended up winning that year. So it's probably today one of the greatest moments in RC history. Really, Billy Tyree winning the open wheel.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, I know I asked this question with a couple of guys, and I know your names come up, but in the RC hobby in the area, what guys do you respect the most that you go to that give you the truth and the people that represent the hobby?
Wow, man. I've been blessed to know so many people and be a part of, so many people's inner circles over the years. I can't really single out one person because it really wouldn't be fair, but names that come out in that, Jake Flores. Jake's always been grandpa. He's always been good to me. And since, I was a kid, running pan car, what's wrong there, Griffin? I'm like, just not, something's not right. Well, what's going on? We'll talk about it. Jake and, I've known Rob Cummins since I was a kid and whatever. George Rabonitz took me under his wing and pretty much molded me into what I am. I mean, I remember struggling over at Willow Mill. And George, here's my car, just drive it. And I couldn't drive it. And I told him, I said, this thing's junk. I don't know how you fast with it. I don't know why you're fast with it or how fast, you can do this. He goes, the car works. I'm like, I know the car works, but I can't drive it. You need to change it. He looked at me and says, I ain't changing nothing. You're going to drive this car. And when, George distilled a lot of things into me. So, George is very up on my list or whatever. Other guys that come into mind is, Jim Pullman and, everything that he's helped me with. Him and I have had many long nights and talks and conversations. I greatly appreciate his friendship and being around. I remember Artie Fye as a college student coming to Willow Mill.
Wow.
So Artie Fye is another guy that is out there. It just there's so many good guys out there. Even locally here. You got Nick. Nick has been around for
Nick
years.
DeAngelis.
So when it comes down to just saying one person, there's not really just one person you can hone into.
I think that's really the cool thing about our hobby. There's a lot of guys. I know some other guys said it today that you can go to almost anybody and they'll help you out and get you going. So one more final question here. We're almost out of time. What draws you to RC racing? Is it the competition? Is it the tinkering? Is it the friendships? The enemies you make? What's the story here?
Listen, at the end of the day, I want to be number one. I mean, everybody.
Yeah, you would be racing if you didn't want to.
But for me, I look at it's over for me. I mean, I just want to win the open wheel, but the open wheel's not around no more. So there's nothing really for me to really do. It's more about really. So I just want to make sure that he runs well and has the same opportunities that I had to win races and progress and do well. Outside of that, I love the friendship that you build. I mean, listen, when you hang out with people, and I got to give you your due, Tommy Burgess, you hang out with people like Tommy and have as much fun as you had with the Dirty South and them guys, and we go out for pool and drink beer and have fun. I remember one night, it's kind of funny you talk about memories, and Jim Pullman came here and he ran really, really well. The ice cream truck was here the other night, and we had ice cream. And there's a real neat story that goes on with that. We ended up leaving, and we ended up going to a bar. The food was closed. There was no food. There was drinking. Pullman, Bartles, there was a bunch of Rob Cutman. Well, we ended up having pizza delivered to the bar. And we're in the bar, and he's like, you can have pizza. They were having Domino's pizza, and just had a great time. And for me, I want to come here and kick everyone's butt. I want to win. That's what it's about for me. I want to take the trophy home. I want my bragging right. Really, at the end of the night, I have more fun going out to eat with the guys and making friends and the camaraderie than probably more than anything, because they stick with me more than when I'm racing right now.
Yeah, you hate rainy days like today when it's raining and you're trying to get racing in, but you sure do get around to get to talk to people, and sometimes that's just as good too.
Oh, absolutely. Without friendship, there's nothing. We don't have none of this.
Yep, exactly. So thank you very much, Kevin.
Thank you.
This is SBRN, and we're checking out.